How important is Bob Iger to the Walt Disney Company? Some would say very important. So important that his pay went up by 30% in 2024. Is he worth it? Let's talk about it on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is my Wookiee co-pilot, Mr. VashSky. Vash, you ready to talk about Bob Iger?
I'm always ready to talk about Bob Iger. Oh, what an interesting character. In fact, so interesting, you know what? You might need to pay him more.
Let's talk about that. This one out of the Wall Street Journal by Connor Hart. I think he might be Kevin's little brother, but who knows? Bob Iger's Disney compensation rose to $41.1 million in 2024 from $31.6 million the prior year. Total compensation climbing by 30% in 2024. There he is, as WDW Pro likes to call him, the mousy messiah. Disney Chief Executive Officer Bob Iger's annual compensation rose to $41.1 million in 2024, a 30% increase from $31 million. Iger received $18 million in stock awards, $12 million in option awards, $7.2 million in bonuses, and $2.1 million in other forms of compensation, according to the entertainment giant's 2025 proxy statement filed Thursday with the Securities and Exchange Commission. His base salary for the year was $1 million. So when they say, oh, I'm going to give up my salary for the year, they're talking about that 1 million mark. I haven't heard Bob Iger do that one specifically, but that's always a fun little run around to watch when executives say, oh, I'm giving up my salary for the year when we're having a downturn. They're already taking a pay cut when the stock price goes down. So bonus payouts were tied to performance. Disney said Iger's performance highlights in 2024 include leading the global box office with the year's two highest grossing films, those being Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine, which brought in $1.7 billion and $1.3 billion, respectively. There's a lot of context to add there for that. Vash,
Yes.
Why don't you go first?
Okay, all right. Yeah, there's a lot of context to that for sure. For one thing, Deadpool and Wolverine, I don't quite think that was a Iger project, at least when it started and developed it right there. I thought that was Chapek who made the move. Hey, look, listen, we have to reincorporate characters, especially from recently acquired assets.
Yep,
like the Fox purchase.
That's very true. So Deadpool and Wolverine is one of the few projects that we know were specifically greenlit by Bob Chapek while he was the head of the company, even though Bob Iger was still head of creative somehow, even though he was executive chairman. Apparently that was news to Bob Chapek as well whenever that was announced. Inside Out 2 did make $1.7 billion at the box office, which is amazing. And I think, did that one get nominated for Best Animated Picture?
Oh, I don't know, actually.
I think that it did. But that being said, it's fine. The only thing that I can say for Inside Out 2, as far as the quality is, the animation is closer to what it needs to be. It doesn't have any weird messaging in it, and it has the characters from Inside Out 1 in it. They reused a lot. If I were to posit a theory, they used a lot from the cutting room floor of Inside Out and put it into Inside Out 2. There were also indications that there was a scramble inside of Pixar in order to make that thing as clean as possible for all conservative audiences. The context that I want to add in here is that 1.7 and 1.3, those are divided up between several markets, and Disney did not take home the $3 billion of revenue that's stated there, but they were the top of the box office, which is the kind of thing that Bob Iger is compensated for because that moves the stock price. Really, when it comes down to it, that is what moves the stock price, and therefore is the thing that Bob Iger is interested in at the company. This is when you have performance-based objectives within the Walt Disney Company. That's what they're talking about here. Let's go to a little site called Yahoo Finance and bring this up right there. And I don't know if you guys notice this right here. There's a move right here around November the 6th or so. The stock price for the Walt Disney Company goes up a little and then goes way
Hmm.
up here. I don't know. Maybe you can help us understand in the comments, or Vash, if you have any idea what happened here around November the 6th or November the 5th in the United States of America that might have affected the stock price here. But
Hmm.
something mysterious happened on that day, and the entire stock price moved up. The Walt Disney Company's prospects moved up at the same time. And I'm going to say that this jump, let's see, what was the price before here? We're looking at around 95, 96, and now it's at 113 per share there. I'm going to say that stock jump right there is the reason for Bob Iger getting that big bump in his personal pay. What do you think about that, Vash?
I think that's probably appropriate. Yeah, if we were to have a pay for performance, I think that would be a pretty good assessment that if the stock price jumped up that much, it must have absolutely been something that Bob Iger himself did, right?
I think. Whoa! You're saying that it was Bob Iger's fault that the stock price of the Walt Disney Company went up?
Well, I mean, that's why he's getting the pay package, right? That's why he's going up. Oh, wait a minute. Wait,
Wait,
November 5th.
yeah. What happened in November 5th? It's such a mystery to me. I cannot figure it out. What happened on November 5th? Anyways, maybe you all can help us in the comment section down below. The thing that I'm pointing out here, and I'm chuckling here. This is a year that has had a lot fewer dramatic issues in it. After you get past, of course, that Nelson Peltz lost the proxy fight, and when Nelson Peltz lost that proxy fight, he disappeared. He also, if I could lose like Nelson Peltz loses, I would be coming home with billions of dollars. So please teach me how to lose like Nelson Peltz. Uh, After he left, it straightened out the stock price for a little while, and there was a slow rise. And it's good that there was a rise, but at the same time, a lot of that motion is things that I don't know are going to help the company long term. And with the entire economy pushing up here, I see Bob Iger is benefiting a lot from the rising tide lifting all boats here. So there's also a flurry of other announcements, including that in 2026 they reasserted that they will be announcing a new CEO, and that it's not necessarily Bob Iger that is in charge of finding that next CEO. Good luck to them in finding that. We would like for that to be a person who is competent and not marred by frequent political entanglements, as the current CEO and some of the possible replacements have been. I don't know, Vash. Is there really anything else to add to this story other than Bob Iger took home a lot more pay for things that are not necessarily his fault?
Well, let's go ahead and examine some of the commentary here by actually Yahoo Finance, ironically, has this story right here. So Disney paid Bob Iger $41 million last year, a 30% increase year over year. Okay, well, that's fine. If we scroll down right here, it actually says, let me see if I can. Yes, the theme park admissions remain strong. Iger's launching a $60 billion investment into the parks, cruises, and parks resorts. That's weird because I don't think theme parks did all that well. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that we should have seen stronger financial performance from their theme parks. Unfortunately, as Caroline Reed has so eloquently put in this Forbes article, Disney's theme parks division reports lowest profit in 2 years. Also, too, Lending Tree had a little survey come out, and they were suggesting that 77% of the theme park going parents with children younger than 18 who have gone to Disney, at least 45% have gone into debt for Disney trip. So that's not good. And I believe 41% saying that they have regrets over having taken out that debt for their Disney vacation. Again, under Bob Iger's watch, but that's just fine right there. While $41 million is certainly nothing to sneeze at, it's significantly less than in 2018 when he took home $65.6 million. That prompted Abigail Disney, the granddaughter of Roy Disney and grandniece of Walt Disney, to launch a public criticism of his compensation, saying that though she liked Iger and though he was doing an excellent job as CEO, the pay ratio of the CEO versus others at the company was insane. You'll also remember, too, Abigail joined into the Nelson Peltz fight and all of that. And had I guess some words backing Iger, if I'm not mistaken. If we are to compensate for maybe fending off Nelson Peltz, which obviously was an objective by not just Bob Iger, but the board itself, I don't know, maybe. But paying for performance, I'm just not quite seeing it here, Jonas.
Yeah, obviously we've been very critical of Bob Iger here on this channel, and I think for good reason. He's more of a mixed bag than his reputation would lead a lot of people to believe. I think he's well liked in Hollywood as long as he's not weighing in on strikes. He made some big missteps when he weighed in on the strikes and said some of the demands were unreasonable. I'm going to say I actually was agreeing with him. Some of those demands were unreasonable, but it was also at a time when a lot of people were hurting and the media was not on the side of the studios there. Bob Iger is also, of course, responsible for a lot of the financial straits that the Walt Disney Company is in right now, for good or ill, mostly for ill, because they still got pay another $5 billion, tacking up all of the Disney Plus expenses that have been made to try to transition the entire company into streaming has cost them more than $100 billion. And this is a company that is currently valued around $200 billion. A $70 billion purchase was made, and they didn't become a $270 billion company. They became a $200 billion company. So.
Well, hang on there, Jonas. Now, they did make a big acquisition in Fox, but not only has that investment absolutely paid off in spades, but I'm sure they've paid down their debt, right? They don't have interest payments laying down.
They aren't doing that well on all of that. I don't know if you know this, Vash, but Bob Iger has not been very responsible from a fiscal standpoint. This may be a shock to you here.
I am flabbergasted right now.
Yeah.
I really can't believe.
Yeah,
he hasn't done the best things for the company with a company credit card. I'm just shocked.
I might eat these words later, but I'm looking forward to the day that he exits the company. I will say one of the best things that he ended up doing was hiring Hugh Johnston from Pepsi in order to help fight Nelson Peltz. It seems like that a lot of good steps were taken at that point. And of course, the addition of J.P. Gorman, James Gorman. And of course, what's the guy's name? Sir Jeremy Darish to the board. He's been very quiet, but Gorman specifically, I think, was a good move for the company here. It gave the appearance, at least, of adults finally being in the room at the board of the Walt Disney Company. Because if not, Nelson Peltz would probably be in there pretty soon. I think the question of executive compensation, that one almost cost Bob Iger the seat that he's got now. So I don't know. I don't know that he's a $41 million man. I'll say that. But we'll throw this to the commenters below. If you guys ever figure out what happened around that November 5th mark in 2024, maybe you guys could research that and let us know. And of course, if you haven't done it yet, like the video if you could like this video. And of course, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.